Okay, so I know I promised today or for this episode that I was going to do a little tour of the property, but the weather's kind of crappy. It's been raining all morning. It's kind of misting right now, and this is Sunday, so I don't have a lot of time to get done what I need to today, and walking around in the woods in the wet undergrowth doesn't exactly appeal to me. So my focus for today is that I am clearing a spot in the woods for a turnaround for big trucks. So obviously I'm going to have trucks bringing containers in here, and I'm going to have cranes coming in here lifting those containers onto concrete footings. And right now what I have is a road with a little roundabout at the end, and so if a truck comes in here with a trailer, they have no place to turn around. So I'm building about a 70-foot cut back into the woods. I'm currently cutting off the trees that I have cut down, the stumps, all the way to the ground. It is not an easy thing to do. And then as soon as I get that done, I'm going to have a load of rock brought in and put across there so those trucks feel confident about coming in. I have no doubts myself that that's high ground and it's always going to be dry and they're never going to be stuck. Whatever, I'm going to go ahead and put some gravel in there anyway. And also when I have company or guests over, they have a place to park that's not on the road. Okay, so here is the spot that I am clearing for a turnaround. There is the gate. So it is directly coming in the gate and to the left. And if you can see, you may not be able to see, but there's some orange flags and an orange stake. And the stake is right here. And the far one is right up here. So anyway, that's 40 feet across. I'm going to have the turn in 40 feet across, and it's going to narrow to 20 feet in the back. I don't need it to go 40 feet wide all the way. I just want them to have plenty of room to be able to swing in and turn around. And I don't know if you can tell, but there is a ditch that comes right down through here. This is the ditch that goes with the public road, and water does come flowing down through there in heavy rains, but I'm going to fill up the ditch right now with rock because I thought about putting a 6-inch pipe into that ditch and then putting the gravel over the top, but I'm thinking that the size of trucks, trailers, and cranes that I'm going to be bringing in here are probably going to be enough to crush that pipe. So, and I'm thinking, why waste all of the time to bury the thing, and then I'm just going to have to dig it up later. So what I decided to do is just fill up that ditch with rock, and then come back later and groove out with a shovel a place for the water to come through the rock. Or I've also thought about digging a channel from up there where the property line is back into the woods and let the water drain off that way. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do, but anyway, that's my goal. So all of this wood that you see here, that's all got to move. That's all got to move. And I've got a couple of stumps in there I got to cut off today. That's my goal. I got 2 stumps, I believe. I got one tiny little tree to cut down, that stump to cut off, and then start moving this wood out. And then as soon as I get that done, I can get the rock ordered. Ugh, it's starting to rain, or a heavy drizzle anyway, so I'm going to put the camera up. I don't want it getting wet. I'm going to attempt to go ahead and finish off the last medium-sized stump. Go sit in the truck for a little bit and see if this gets any better or not. Whew, okay, so I have just finished cutting the last stump at ground level. Super excited. That was no small feat, especially since two of the stumps were bigger through than my 20-inch chainsaw, and took several hours to cut through them, and two destroyed chains, lost a nut for my chainsaw blade, chain skipped off the blade twice, and I got a hell of a thumb cramp. Regardless, it's done. I'm thinking that somehow or another that cutting stumps at ground level is harder on a chainsaw than cutting off a tree at, say, waist height. I don't know. Anyway, so now I have cleanup yet to do. So some brush to drag, and a lot of logs to carry and dump into this pile here, which will be split at a later date. And a lot of this wood that I have to carry off is not small, and it looks like I do have to cut up at least one more log back here, that one right there. But you can see that a lot of wood, and more wood over here, and yeah, look at these stumps. Whew. Okay, so that's done. Super excited about this. Hoping that by next weekend this is all clean. I can call a excavator and book me a load of rock to come in here. After this project is done, the next part of the building phase is going to be starting to dig the holes for the concrete pillars for the storage / workshop container. Super excited about that. That may not be the next thing I tackle. I've got a couple other little projects out here to do. One is to build a 10 by 10 deck with a roof on it so that the wife and I have a place to sit and eat, take breaks underneath a rain guard roof. And the other project I have is to bring in a camper. This camper is not to live in, but I'm going to store it here, and I may use it on the occasional night, work out here really late, cook dinner out here on a fire, and just sleep it off in the camper. But anyway, next big thing is the concrete pillars. Okay, I'm going to preface this piece of the video by saying I am not being sponsored by any tools or anyone at all. I'm just sponsoring myself. But I do want to share my thoughts on electric chainsaws. So I bought this thing with the hopes that I would be able to utilize it because it shares the same battery as my electric lawnmower, and I'll get into that later. But I now have two batteries for one chainsaw, and I thought, how handy will it be to have an electric chainsaw I can go and hit some little limbs with instead of having to fire up the gas-powered ones. Well, let me tell you, this thing has torque. It has a lot of torque. The only thing you're held back by is how sharp the chain is. So as long as your chain is sharp and you're pressing, this thing's cutting through it. So it is a 14-inch blade, and I have cut 14-inch pieces of wood like a hot knife through butter. Now, the only negative to this, and I'm not even going to say maybe a negative, but it's a behavioral change in working with chainsaws, is that chainsaws normally have a gas tank, and you have to stop periodically and top the gas off. And when you do that, you top off the oil. Well, this thing, all you have to do is pull the trigger and it goes. So you tend to forget about the oil tank, and it can become problematic because you'll be going along and all of a sudden you smell something and you go, oh crap, I'm out of oil. So you have to remind yourself to stop periodically and fill up the oil tank. And it's got a really nifty oil gauge, see-through oil gauge on it so that you can see the oil level just by pulling it up and taking a gander at it. But 2 huge thumbs up to electric chainsaws. I hope they come out with a 16 because I will definitely buy one. I have a 16 and a 20 gas-powered ones, but they have a tendency to get bogged down, and this thing just torques through everything. So anyway, I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. Okay, I am done. As you can see, I've got all of the big logs cut up. I have all of the cut up wood that is large toted off to the big wood pile over there. So all there is left to do here is to pick up the little wood and rake up the limbs and the leaves and then call the excavation company and get some rock loaded, or ordered rather, and have it brought in here. So I'm very excited about that. I think I'm going to call it a day. It's middle of the afternoon Sunday, and I do have to work tomorrow. So I am going to sign off, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.